Yo, let me ask you a question. Do you like seafood? Do you like other people's validation? If you answered yes to either of those questions, I got just the recipe for you. Seafood stew. Couldn't be more simple, couldn't be more delicious. You're not gonna believe it. Check it out. It all starts with smoked sausage. Here I'm using some chorizo because I like it spicy. Find yourself something smoky, spicy, fatty, delicious. It's gonna be the foundation of the entire stew, so make sure it's good. I'm a strong believer that 5.5 inches is all you need of anything. So I think that's what I'm using for this. 5.5 inches of sausage. Cut into it lengthwise, not too deep, just to split the casing. Once I've made the lengthwise incision, I cut the sausage into little coins, maybe around 1/4 inch thick. Now I've found in my years of sausage experience that the casing gets in the way of the eating experience. So the reason we cut it lengthwise earlier is now that we have these little coins, it's really easy to remove the casing and just peel it completely off. Use whatever cooking fat you want to use. But since I grew up around a lot of Italians, I've always had the habit of using olive oil. Now you can skip the butter too, but I really don't know why you would. You don't really have to go high heat on this, because what we're trying to do is we're going to introduce the sausage into the cooking fats and gently render out that beautiful smoky, spicy, fatty fat from the sausage. So I wouldn't go high heat. Like so many things in life, low and slow is the answer. So be patient. It's going to take a little bit of time for the fat to render out of the sausage. If you're using something spicy, like I am, you'll see that the orange fat of the sausage slowly diffuses into your cooking fats. That's how you know things are going in the right direction. All that sausage is rendering out, now is the perfect time to prep out your onions and your garlics. For the onions, I like to do a fairly fine dice. So you'll see here, this is my little technique of doing so, but you cut the onions however you like and into whatever size you damn well please. Now for the garlic, I go even finer, close to a mince. And the reason being is I find that a large piece of garlic is often more polarizing. When you feel that the sausage has been sufficiently rendered, you're gonna take it out of the oil. What you're gonna be left with is this beautiful, spicy, smoky, fatty, deliciousness that is now left in your pot. This shit is literal gold. To that deliciousness, you're gonna add your onions first. What I like to do is, I cook it long enough to get rid of sort of that spicy, raw edge off of the onion, but not so much that I caramelize and really get it too sweet. Once they're soft enough, that's when I'll add garlic. The garlic is an interesting gig, because once you've added to the onions, and if you did it as fine as I did it, they kind of get lost. And so visually, you can't tell when the garlic is done. But that's fine, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna trust your nose. So at first, when you introduce the garlic, it's extremely pungent, it's really spicy, it's that shit that would scare off a vampire. Once it starts smelling roasty and kind of sweet, that's how you know that the garlic is cooked right. In the onions and garlic is where I'll add the chili flake, salt, and pepper. To be honest though, you can really add your spices whenever you want. I've always kind of habitually added it earlier, just because in my imagination, it cooks for longer. And especially if there's oil, you add a little bit of the chili flake, I just imagine the chili flake kind of getting activated, so to speak. But again, add it whenever you want. Now technically, if we're gonna be technical, we've reached the deglazing phase. As you'll see in my footage, I really don't have that much golden brown delicious anythings to deglaze. But if you do, this is the perfect time where we add our white wine and you scrape all of that off into the wine and get that nice and mixed together. What you're trying to do with the wine is just get the alcohol to cook off. So a fun thing I like to do is, as the alcohol vapor is evaporating, you get your face nice and close and you take a couple deep breaths, right? You're the chef, you've been working hard, you've earned yourself a little buzz. So the wine's cooking out, the alcohol is evaporating, Now is the perfect time to prep out the tomato product. You know, since I'm a good Italian boy, I like the San Marzano tomatoes. And specifically, I like the peeled, not the crushed, not the strained, the peeled. Now this is really important because you get to control the consistency of your stew. If you were just buying crushed tomatoes, you're dealt the hand that you're dealt. But since we're using the whole peeled, you have full control here. So don't be shy, get your hands in there and start squeezing. I'm not gonna micromanage you here and tell you exactly what consistency of sauce and stew you need to have. However you like it, that's the right way to do it. I really feel like I found some good shit here because clam juice is cheap, it's available, pretty much always in stock because nobody fucks with clam juice, and also because it's clean. Now if you're using a seafood broth, likely they're cooking it with other veggies or herbs or flavors that then you're going to introduce to your stew, which you might not want to. It might muddy everything. So clam juice brings you that umami without introducing too much extra. We're also going to add just a little bit of tomato paste. Add all your liquids to the wine mixture. Your San Marzano tomatoes, your clam juice, and your tomato paste. Now we're going to reintroduce the sausage that we had previously rendered out, as well as the fresh herb of the day, and here I am using some fresh basil. You're going to get your sausage and your basil and everything well acquainted. Everybody's going to get to know each other. What you're going to do then is you're going to turn up the heat, let it come up to a rapid, maybe more gentle boil, and once it's reached that boil, you're gonna put the lid on, you're gonna turn the heat down and let it simmer and give it time to reduce and get beautiful. Let's prep our seafood. We're gonna take a page out of our favorite organization, the KGB. We're gonna trust but verify. And what we're verifying here is that the fishmonger, whoever handled the squid last, had removed all the cartilage and all the spines. Let's verify. So if you've gone KGB and you've checked and verified, now slice it into rings. Removing the shell off of shrimps is pretty easy. I pinch where the legs are and I pull down and everything should come apart. I try not to be Mr. You have to do this, you have to do that. But with the shrimp, I'm gonna say, you have to devein the shrimp. You're gonna take a small knife and make an incision along the back. You're gonna get your finger in there and essentially find that intestinal tract to devein and get rid of all the shrimp shit. Now, because I spent an arm and a fucking leg on getting these mussels, I'm gonna clean them and make them presentable. I don't really think the barnacles or that white sea scum, whatever the fuck that is gonna really cook off and affect the stew at all. But for visual appeal, and also because I spent money on it, I'm gonna get those motherfuckers looking beautiful. And so that's what I do. I take a little metal scrubber, sometimes a knife, and I just get in there and chip away at it. And then once you've cleaned off the shell, I like to take a pair of scissors and just cut down some of that weird pubic hair. The fish is super easy. I just slice it into strips around three finger width. And that's just to make it more uniform so it cooks with the other seafood more evenly. The beauty of the whole thing is you get to eat whenever you're hungry. And when you are hungry, all you have to do, turn up the heat, get it up to a gentle boil, and add your seafood. There's no particular order for which I add the seafood, except for I always add the mussels or any other shellfish last. What we're trying to do here is we're actually trying to exploit the fact that when the mussels get fully cooked, they open up and crack that smile. So by adding the mussels last, in my experience, I've always found that once the mussels have opened up and cracked that smile, that pretty much tells you that everything else that you've added before that is pretty much done. So this is a surefire way, no need for timers, no need for thermometers, just visually check when the mussels have cracked that smile. Once those mussels have cracked that smile and your stew is done, we're gonna add a comfortable amount of butter as well as some fresh herb. Now what I mean by a comfortable amount of butter is essentially that Goldilocks zone where it's just enough butter to get everything tasty and delicious without too much butter that it makes you feel guilty. For the herb that we're adding, I'm just using some chopped Italian parsley. In all seriousness, what the butter is doing is it's emulsifying into your sauce and making it thicker and richer. In addition, the creamy and fattiness of the butter really works well to balance out the acidity from all the tomato product that we have. Alright, it's butter. It's fucking delicious. Need I say any more? I can't stress this enough. At almost every step along the way, it is completely up to you. And just the same, what you choose to serve the stew with is also completely up to you. What I served it with was some brown rice that I was cooking on the side, add a little lemon wedge, call it a day. I've made this dish a few times. I've had it with pasta, I've had it with bread, which is super easy and super quick, and I've had it with no carb at all, just like a stew, like a soup. Doesn't matter how I served it or what I served it with, everybody always ate the shit out of it. Oh, okay. Before I go to my salon appointment, I just want to say, if you liked it, throw me a like. If you disliked it, leave a comment. Talk some shit to me. Let me know. All right? You can keep it constructive or unconstructive. I'm going to read it and it's going to hurt the same. And if you want to see more of this shit, subscribe to me.